Aloha, welcome back to Aina Bear Farm. We're gonna show you a video, a farm tour, that talks about our goals in 2023. So I thought we'd start back here with the agroforestry row, kind of give you a look at what we've been up to back here. So the last video we posted about this section, we did some clearing of the guinea grass up at the top, and then recently we came and pruned all of this pigeon pea back, so that all that nitrogen could be banked in the ground, and then we could use the mulch there. And oh, it's a sighting of the mysterious teenager. He's come out of his lair. Wow, folks, you don't know how special that is. You very rarely see that species on our farm. Anywho, back to the content. So bananas are looking great. Everything's looking really good. And as we approach the end down here, you can see where we have recently cleared for expanding that row. And you can see the irrigation lines. That's one of the things that's really nice about having rows, is that you can irrigate them, and that will make a big difference when the dry season comes. And then here you can see just all the materials that had to be cleared. So first we had to cut this big pile of guinea grass, then we had to uproot all the clumps of guinea grass, so there's some plastic down under there so it won't reroot. Dig out all of the debris from the podocarpus trees that we originally had cut down from up at the top there. Whatever, the smaller material was left. So this will all go to biochar and continue to feed the system. And then if you haven't seen any of our previous videos about this row, the idea is bananas and mangoes all the way down, staggered. We'll leave those bananas in for quite a while. And then right now we've got nitrogen fixers like the sun hemp, the jack bean, the pigeon pea, and eventually most of that will be replaced with just some really nice looking landscape plants. Monstera, we've got the red tea leaf in the back there is another one of those, and some ferns and some native plants, and we'll just really build this out into a aesthetically pleasing area, since it's right behind the house and we look at it quite a bit. Another thing that we are excited about is we have finally gotten the rabbits set up in their outdoor digs. And so we've got this nice kennel pad that was here, and we just reinforced it with a lot of layers of wire, put them some hutches out there, got their, if I get it to focus, their feeding station back there, and then a little run out here. Now there's this really fine mesh wire like this is actually under the dirt down there, and so that way they can dig, but they can't actually get out. And then on the top, we've got chicken wire that keeps any predators like a cat or anything like that from trying to get at them. And so far so good. They're really happy to be out here. And then I can just easily drop little garden treats in there for them. And then eventually we'll probably clean this out with the manure and restock it with some soil. And then we want to extend to that back area, kind of give them a larger area to run around in. One of our big goals in the food forest area is just to continue suppressing guinea grass in some of our zone 2 area, where we're really going heavy on ground covers like this perennial peanut. So you see here, we want that over here. And so we've killed off all this grass with the tarps. As we move up the hillside, you'll be able to see up here we've actually got, it's hard to see right now, but there is perennial peanut bits in here that are ready to go. So come spring, those will start to grow rapidly and cover this area. And then we've moved the tarp up all the way to the fence. So we're just going to continue to smother whole sections like that and replace that guinea grass with perennial peanut. Here's another section. And then we lay material on top of that in the meantime to dry it out so it doesn't reroot. This is all Tithonia. It's now crispy enough to go around some of our fruit trees. And of course, we're looking forward to a lot more fruit this year. Here's some very young soursops coming on this soursop tree. Looking forward to getting our first soursops that were grown here on the farm to eat. And here we are, close to the top of the property, looking down. And you can see the BCS mower that was a critical purchase this year in 2022 has helped us really stay on top of this grass. We've gotten this whole section down once. It's already grown several feet since we mowed, but it is way better than it was. You can now actually see all the different trees that are in there. And we've got most of that section planted, although there are a few we are going to be looking to replace, and we'll show those in a moment. We'll continue expanding all the way down where this tree is. That's a silk oak that we'll be taking out. Continue all the way down to the bottom of the property. As I go this way, you can just see that that's the Zone 2 food forest where things are much more established, a lot more stacking. We've just taken out a lot of the Tithonia, and yet it's still got a nice thick canopy in there. There's the sun just starting to come up over here in the east. Beautiful morning. So here we're at the far western edge of where we have planted. So this line sort of represents the end of Zone 3. Well, the end of Zone 3 as it currently is. It'll probably continue a little bit further. And then on the other side of that grass, till you reach these taller trees in the background, is Zone 4 and 5. And so one of our big projects for 2023 is to improve our ability to get water all the way out here. Because during the dry season, it's just really hard to get much anything going if you can't supply supplemental water. And with this type of food forest design, it's not in rows. It's difficult to run irrigation. Not only that, but the way that I have to mow everything. I mean, irrigation would just be a huge headache, not only installation-wise, but on an ongoing maintenance basis. So what we're actually going to do in 2023 is run a 1-inch poly pipe all the way out here, high-pressure poly pipe. It'll go all the way to the end of the property. And then for all of our different sections, we'll have hose bibs where we can connect hose and run them down these sections. And then I will most likely be using a lot of overhead sprinklers in these more established systems, certainly in Zone 2, probably Zone 3. Zones 4 and 5, I'll probably just use hoses to spot water some of the few things that we're going to plant out there in 2023. But we really want to get our overstory going out there. So things like ice cream beans, maybe some Gliricidia. I also want to get koa in, ohia. Those are some of our really important native trees because I really want that to be largely a less managed, less touched Zone 5 type of forest with a lot of native species there. And also want to put in some bamboo back there that we can use for just general building purposes. It's always good. So that'll be a huge project that we're going to try to get done before the summer, before the dry season. That way we'll have it ready to use by then. So I mentioned replacing some plants. This is definitely high on the list. This is an abiyu. It is a grafted variety that is the gray variety, and it's just never done well. I think part of this is just a reinforcement in the lesson that don't buy a tree unless it looks really strong when you're purchasing it. This one was kind of yellowy, just didn't look at full health. And I thought no problem. I'll put it in a nice spot, I'll feed it, and we'll bring it back. And that does work sometimes, but this was not a discount tree. This is a very expensive grafted variety that has just continued to decline over the years as it's been in the ground. And so I finally just come to terms with the fact that, this is the end of the line for this guy. So we'll be removing that and replacing it. We've got a few others that just didn't work out, like maybe they're in the wrong spot, maybe it wasn't a healthy tree. And that's okay. That happens. That's all part of the experiment. And the good thing is that, looking on the bright side, is that this is some really nice real estate. This soil has been building with all this nice rich organic material for years, and it's got great moisture retention. It's got a windbreak, the Tithonia, in front of it, and some pigeon pea mixed in there, fixing nitrogen. So whatever we put there, I think is going to be very happy. So no worries, just all part of the way it goes in the food forest. Here's another first fruit we're excited about. This is our ulu, or breadfruit tree. So this is a Tahitian variety, and I'm not sure if it's a named variety. Maybe Otea, something like that. I've got to get somebody to help me identify, which I think will be easier once the fruit is fully formed. So a lot of people can easily tell by the look of the fruit. And we have 3 different varieties right now. We've got Otea, we have the heirloom Hawaiian variety that was originally brought over by the Hawaiians, and then we've got Mahalo, which is a really nice compact version that a lot of people grow here. You can see down here we've put some air layers on this tree. So we are trying to make 3 new trees by wrapping them with a damp sphagnum moss. Get them to root in there, and then we'll clip those off, pot them up, and plant them out, because we've got big plans to create an ulu grove right on the other side of this grass line. So this is a ridge, and it really drops right here. Oh, maybe elevation wise 15 feet, and then it kind of levels out a little bit and goes down. I would show you, but it's pretty hard to see through the grass. And but we've got quite a decent amount of space down there, and so our plan is to put in at least 12 ulu trees down there in an agroforestry row style, partly because this is a spot where we've got crop rows, and I'll show you a little more about that in a moment. But I've got an irrigation line that runs down here and feeds these. And so I want to continue that irrigation all the way down to that lower section and feed these lines of the ulu trees, partly because that distance to get water down there is pretty far, and traversing up and down that steep slope would be really obnoxious to have to do on a regular basis in the dry season. So that's, I think, going to be a spring project this year, getting that set up. Not exactly sure when the ulus will go in. It'll kind of depend on how quickly they're able to root and get set up in the pots, but we'll be excited to bring you guys some footage of setting that section up, because that'll be a really cool opportunity to see kind of another agroforestry type of system and see how we try to get the soil all charged up. This crop area, so if you haven't seen previous videos, what our intention here is to do crop rows mixed with alleys of the guinea grass that was already here, and then we just cut this and use that to mulch our crop rows. And so we've got a couple of rows that are under mats right now, just killing all that back. I mean, it's really dead at this point. I'm just leaving it until I'm ready to dig it up and get something in the ground. These are pretty established white pineapples. I believe there's about 50 on this row that should all fruit this year. So there'll be quite a bit of white pineapple. I'm really excited about that, with the moringa as the kind of overstory, and just need to come through and prune that moringa, get it reinvigorated for spring growth. We'll get a little bit of dappled shade for the summer, and then of course use the moringa. And this next row, we've got the papayas you can see here. That's kind of a little overstory. And then a mix of jack bean, and then these ají dulce peppers mixed throughout as well. So that's what we're going with there. Just need some weeding, some cleaning up, and then coming through and mowing here. You can see another row here. And then at the top, we've got another row of all white pineapples that just went in this year. You can see those, and I think it's another 50 here. These are planted a little tighter. Kind of learned from before that when you plant them tighter, they'll hold each other up a little bit better. It makes the maintenance a little bit easier, and then as long as you feed them, they get plenty of nutrient. So, big plan in 2023 is to really get this section improved, stay on top of the maintenance, get some other crops in here. I really want to grow asparagus out here, like a whole line of asparagus. So we'll see if I can get that going. I just haven't been able to get to it. And then I haven't actually decided, but this area is sort of reserved for crops like asparagus, not necessarily like one and done quick annuals, but stuff that's going to be in the ground for a little while, stuff that doesn't require constant tons of maintenance. We have a little house garden with some market garden overflow, and it's just so much maintenance. I just can't seem to stay on top of it. So I've already got that. I don't want to expand that type of system even further, but hopefully we will get on top of this year and make it more productive. So as we wrap this up, I just wanted to just kind of talk about another general plan for this year. These are 2 new Feijoa trees that we're excited about. So they don't get that big, so I planted them relatively close to each other. They'll cross-pollinate. And those are new, so just kind of wanted to show those. But generally in this area, what I wanted to talk about was just building out the system with some diversity. So we can see the coleus, this is the cranberry hibiscus, the comfrey, perennial peanut, the turmeric growing through there. There's ginger hiding back there. As we pan around, we've got a banana circle. This is a native amaranth plant. I cannot remember the Hawaiian name, but it's a really nice, robust plant. We've got Chinese tea here. Mamaki, the native nettle that we use for tea here, that is amazing. And as I get back in the corner here, we've got coffees, and we're starting to tuck into the Understory. There's patchouli, and then under this very large ice cream bean, got the grumichama. We've got culantro, kind of like the perennial cilantro. We've got the ho'ava, really nice native tree. The native fern here. A chaicharu. So you can see we're really building this out. Some more of those ají dulce peppers. They look like cherries hanging in the bush there. We're just really building this out, filling in all the spaces, particularly these shade spaces that I've been waiting for so long to have more of because there's so many great shade-loving plants. So 2023, I forgot all the turmeric that's down here. It's kind of dying back for the winter, but 2023 we'll be putting in a lot more coffees, cacaos, turmerics, gingers, those productive understories, as well as just native plants we can get a hold of that like the understory. Just really filling in these gaps and turning this into more of a forest. So as always, we appreciate you joining us. For those of you that have spent the year watching our videos, we appreciate that as well. I hope everybody has a wonderful new year and a wonderful 2023. Hit us up if you have questions or anything you'd like to see coming up in our future videos. And until then, we will see you back here at Aina Bear Farm. Aloha.